Good morning and welcome to Your Voice Matters TV with Di Riddell. It's episode 13 this morning, and I guess episode 13 ought to be a little bit upside down and back to front because that's just what the number 13 means, isn't it? So today I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that are absolutely necessary to travel in the West. For any of you who haven't travelled in the West, you may not be aware that flies become your almost second skin and they drive me nuts. So what I decided to do was get some little doilies. Remember your grandmother? She had these little doilies that she used to pull over the milk jug, like these. Just pretty little things that sat over the milk jug in the old days when they didn't have fly screens, and that would protect the milk from flies. Well, I have found a new use for them. If you're going to have a glass of wine, the last thing you need is to have flies floating in it. So it fits perfectly. That sits over my wine, and I know if I turn my back that there won't be any flies in it. How good is that? But the flies just don't like your wine. They're actually fairly partial to your cup of tea as well. And it's just the right size to fit over my mug of tea. One mug, one cover. Put it down and it's protected from the flies. How good's that? Now, this is really unattractive. You know how you see in camping stores or you see on videos these people that wear the hat and the gauze hanging down off it? And I've always thought, how goofy, how stupid they look. Well, guess what? I'm reassessing. Except I haven't got a hat. But there have been two occasions, and one of them was this morning, where I've multi-used. So I have a food cover, which, when placed strategically over the head, keeps the flies away. You can lift it up and put your coffee cup under. The only thing I discovered is that it's difficult to read, but it keeps the flies away from my face and away from my ears. And if all else fails, you know what they used to do? The fly swat. Now this one's getting a bit ragged, but I'm a bit attached to it. It's done me a lot of favours. So the Australian wave, the Australian salute, comes in very handy. But now let's just talk about the heat. So why am I inside this morning? Mainly because it's too hot outside. We're at Julia Creek, which is close on 700 kilometres from the coast, from Townsville. It's really, really hot. But we are in a beautiful spot called Julia Creek campsite. It's on the edge of a creek, and we wouldn't be 3 or 4 feet from the water. So it's an absolutely lovely spot. The heat is just intense. So last night we had dinner cooked outside on the barbie and we ate under the stars. Yes, that was nice, but it was also to get away from the heat. And one of the best things that we found to keep everything a-okay and cool yourself down a bit is to have one of these. Now, I don't actually know what they're called, but it's a gauzy fabric. There's 2 layers to it. You wet it and put it around your neck. You can use it to wipe your face, to wipe your arms, and when it dries out a little bit, you just get it and shake it, and that cools it down, and put it back around your neck. Now these are my survival tips for being out on the road. Each of us have things that we do to make our life a bit easier. Whether we're at home, where it might be putting on the aircon or going for a swim. Could be going to an air-conditioned shopping centre. There aren't any of those out here. So each of us adapt to our surroundings, to what we're faced with. And believe me, fashion goes out the door when it's crazy hot. It was 38 or 39 degrees when we arrived here yesterday, and it was about 36 in the van at about 7:30 or 8 o'clock last night. So it's really, really warm. So anything we can use to keep cool, anything I can use to keep the flies away. It's the coping skill for where I am at this very minute. So, you know, what's it got to do with voice? I've been posting lots of photos of our trip, and going on a trip is just like life. There's good days, there's bad days, there's bloody awful days. And portraying all of those shows that we're human. It's not all beer and skittles on the road, but then it's not all beer and skittles in life. Let's just enjoy what we've got, make the most of it, and you know how lucky we are to be living in Queensland and having the ability and the availability, allowance, call it whatever you like, to travel all over the state to see so many places in our country, because boy, are they worth it. So if you'd like to see some more of me, you can join my Facebook, have a look at my Facebook group, Rising Speakers Community, and you might like to join. You would be very welcome. Okay, till next week, cheerio, keep your chin up and cope in the best way you know how. Cheerio.